When you're alone with your thoughts, you get an idea of what your thoughts actually are. If you live your life just acting constantly on the momentum of other people's expectations, of you wanting to be liked by these other people, you can run into a trap, and you set up a life that you didn't really want. You're trapped in this situation where you have a mortgage, you've got credit card bills, you got student loans you have to pay, you have a bunch of shit going on that you have to continue to feed. And all that, and especially if you have a family and you have to feed them, oh my goodness. Then you're fully locked in. You can't take any chances whatsoever. And oftentimes people make the mistake of getting stuck. And it is just a tactical mistake, just like it would be a mistake if you got stuck on a video game. Just like it would be a mistake if you followed a map incorrectly and you got stuck in the woods. Your life is certainly some sort of a journey. It's certainly some sort of a journey. And we have to all be aware that when we're making journeys, we're not going to always make the right steps. And sometimes you have to back up and try again. And if you're in a position where you can't back up and try again, you've trapped yourself. And the system will set out honeypots for people to get trapped in. The system will set out the ideas of retirement, the ideas of the golden years, providing you benefits, providing you a healthy work environment. Why? Well, because they want people to work for them. They don't want people to realize their own dreams and escape. But that's a pain in the ass. So you got to hire more people and train them. And they want to set it up so that you stick around. You stick around in some sort of an unsatisfying world. It's up to you to see that video game problem, to see that issue as it comes up on the map. And no, I think this is a right turn. To see all the problems that could potentially lay in front of you and calculate your future. And then also look around all the people that didn't do it and look at the misery that they're in and learn that you don't want to be like them. And then look at the people that have kind of taken chances and navigated their way. What did they do differently than you? What objectivity do they have that maybe you lack? What insight into their own mistakes are they willing to delve into that you're not, that you step back and you go, I just don't want to look at myself that closely. But the person who's able to look at themselves the closest is going to get the more rational results. The things that's causing this funk that people are in is that we're living our lives, many of us at least, in these very unfulfilling ways, where you're going to this office with artificial light and you're doing something you don't want to do all day long, and then you get home and you're tired. And on top of that, you're eating shit. You're eating potato chips and you're drinking soda, and your body is just like, what in the f*** is this? Do what you want to do. Do what the f*** is it that you really want to do? Because if someone else is doing it, you can do it. It's good to treat other people the way you would like to be treated yourself. It's like a golden rule, and there's a reason for it. And that reason is that we're connected. And there's a lot of folks that live life on a cushy cloud of marshmallows and bullshit. And then one day something goes wrong. And I mean, that's why spoiled kids are so sad. Like a spoiled young boy is one of the saddest things ever. A young boy that becomes a man and can't take care of himself, and his dad has to keep on rescuing him. His dad has to keep on bailing him out of situations and giving him money. I've met guys like that. And that is a crippling affliction when they don't have the character themselves to be able to get by in life. They constantly need someone to help them and bail them out. Even as a grown man, I've met guys in their 40s that still need help from their parents. I'm like, what the f***, man? You're never going to get it right, because somewhere along the line, they didn't face enough of the adversity to realize that there's sometimes you just got to get up and get shit done. There's sometimes where you have to pull yourself up and you have to push forward, even if you want to stay in bed. And if you don't do that and you just keep calling on your daddy and your daddy keeps rescuing you, you never develop those tools. You never develop that ability to recognize what you're doing wrong with your life. Because you're soft, you got a cushiony, you got a safety net for your safety net. When I was like an amateur, I would see guys that were killing, and I'd be like, him, like, why is he doing good? Like, that guy sucks and this guy sucks, and how come he got this and he got that? And then I remember thinking, like, this is a gigantic waste of time. And I got into comedy because I'm a fan of comedy. And my concentrating on people that suck or being jealous about people that are doing well does me zero good. But instead, if someone does well, I can be inspired and I can get fired up by it. I mean, I figured this out in my early 20s. I was like, okay, I have a poor way of looking at it, because it's a martial arts thing. Because in martial arts, like, you can't be jealous of someone else's ability. You have to realize you might have to fight them someday. So by realizing that they're really good, you're forced to be objective about it. And you have to go to work. Like, you have to go, that guy's better than me. I got to get better. And you have to go to work.
Right.
There's no there's no positive benefit in underestimating someone. It's just impossible to change people's ways. They have to want to change. They have to be motivated. They have to. It's so hard to change people. It's like if you've ever had a friend that's been into drugs and it's been all f***ed up and you can't get them to quit, or an alcoholic. It is almost impossible to talk someone into changing. They have to have some motivation that's internal.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with eating good. The best example you could set is by living your life in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Just live it.
That's one of the best things about the internet. You get to see all these people that are doing things in a healthy way and doing things that are exciting and inspirational, and then it makes you want to do stuff.
Yeah.
I got to see firsthand both sides of money. You know, I went from living in a basement with 5 other people and living on welfare to living with my father in a mansion. And it's like, oh, yeah, all this money and all this stuff is just emptiness and meaningless, and it doesn't necessarily equate to real happiness.
No,
and like, why are we all chasing this so hard? And I got to see that firsthand very, very early on. I was like, I don't want this at all.
Well, it's a trick. It's like the same reason why people love to play video games, because they're difficult. But there's no real reward unless you're a professional video game player and you make a living doing it.
Nowadays,
there's no real reward. You just get better at it and you get some sort of a sense of satisfaction. And I mean, there's something to be gained from it. In fact, some video games they've actually shown can increase your cognitive performance and other things, similar to the way chess does.
Right.
But the trap is that they're hard to do. So when we see things that are difficult, human beings are sort of puzzle and problem-solving oriented. We see puzzles we want to solve, and we see mysteries we want to find out. That's why everybody's into like Bigfoot and UFOs and because it's a mystery.
Yeah.
Oh, what is it? What do you think it is? Like, we have a natural inclination to try to solve things like that.
Yeah.
And we think that because in life, look, if you try to solve where the food is, you survive. That's what made us alive. That's why our DNA has been passed down for all these hundreds of thousands of years. Because our ancestors figured out where the food is. You know, they figured out how to drill a hole in the ice and fish. They figured out how to survive.
Yeah.
And this is why things that are difficult to do are attractive to us. But we have to be able to differentiate between things that are difficult and meaningful and things that are difficult and bullshit.
Yeah.
You know Brian Callen? My friend Brian Callen said something to me once when we were real young, and it was the perfect thing. We're both in our 20s. And he said, all you want is enough money so you don't have to worry about what something costs when you go to a restaurant.
Yeah.
He's like, everything else is bullshit. I was like, you're right.
Yeah,
like that feeling of being able to have enough money to just get a nice meal at a restaurant and not sweat it.
Yeah.
Like, everything else is gravy. If you had a kid, obviously you do have a kid, but say if you had like a 20-year-old and he's just a doper where he wake and bakes and doesn't get anything done. He's just always like hanging out with his friends and playing video games, and he's just a loser. Yeah. I wish there was a way you could show someone like that, like, I know that you're getting some comfort and satisfaction out of just laying around, doing nothing, eating, getting fat, but your life would feel better and richer if you had a goal, you chase that goal, you accomplish some things, and you would get this boost of confidence, you get this boost of self-esteem, like whatever it is that you're into doing. Maybe you're into drawing comic books, maybe you're into making pottery or sculptures, but find whatever the that is and pursue that instead of doing nothing. Like, the people that are doing nothing, those are the real people. Look, doing something might be as simple as like that Alex Honnold guy. He just climbs rocks, but he's world-class rock climber. Though. It's something.
But and it's also a goal of his, and he's also the best at it. Right?
Yes, yeah.
But those people who smoke pot all day and do that, those are also the guys who hate on Joe Rogan for being in shape. You know what I'm saying? Or being disciplined. Or get on Kevin Hart's Instagram and hate on him. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't, it's their own insecurities. I see what you're saying. But I would assume they would get motivated by seeing other people do something with their lives. Like, that should be motivating, not
but if you grew up with losers and you're around a bunch of people with shitty attitudes, especially if it's in your household, I was very lucky that both my mom and my stepdad, they're the least hater people I've ever met in my life. They're just not haters in any way. Like if someone's doing well, they're always like, wow, look at this guy, or like, wow, look at her,
Yeah,
or
they
wow, look at
celebrate.
him. There was never any hate in my house. There's a bunch of people that will say, yeah, well, I have a family, so, you know, it's a great idea for you to just go out there and go crazy. I have people to support. You need to listen. Stop saying that. Stop saying any of those things. Every single person who has ever done anything worthwhile or exceptional or difficult or extraordinary, anyone, whether it's great artists or authors or mathematicians or whatever the it is, everyone encounters difficulties. There is no easy road. It does not exist. It is impossible. Everyone has issues. If you have time to pursue a hobby, if you have time to do anything in your life, you can better yourself. And here's one way you never better yourself. When you come up with excuses for why other people are successful and you're not. That is dangerous. When you give yourself an escape. Yeah, well, that's easy for you to say. You know, you do this, you do. Trust me. Everybody has a hard road. I wanted to jump out a window several times during my young life. I wanted to jump in front of a train and just end it because it's too much pressure. Not really. But you know what I'm saying. Theoretically. We all go through hard times. We all go through depression. We all go through doubt and moments in your life where it's really difficult and you're trying to figure out what the your path is going to be. It's hard as shit. But Stefan and I were talking about this before the podcast starts, that is what makes you a person. And those difficult moments are what build your character. Show me a great man who's the son of a great man. You know, that's what we're saying. These kids that are born billionaires, you're never going to be a self-made person. You have a backup trust for your backup trust for your trust, and you're man.